Welcome to Heart's Home Podcast, where we explore the path of spiritual awakening, self-realization and actualization, and empowered creation. I'm your host, Lizzie Siegel, and this is a space for all of you starseeds, lightworkers, healers, visionaries, way showers, who know that you were made for something more. This podcast is a homecoming to your heart, hence the name Heart's Home. It's a space where we walk the path together, where we journey through maybe a season, a reason, or a lifetime together, following divine guidance, embracing synchronicities, and living authentically. I'll be sharing spiritual teachings, stories and reflections, conscious conversations, special guest episodes, and beautiful practices of meditation and guided journeys, all while guiding you toward a life of love, abundance, and aligned action. Remember, when you shine your light brightly, others can find you. So let's begin this journey of self-illumination together. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I'm so excited. Welcome to Season 2 of Heart's Home Podcast. I am so thrilled to be back after a long pause, a hiatus, if you will. This is the first episode of Season 2. And after taking time, a lot of time, for deep rest and integration, I am finally back at the microphone and with a new camera and a new mic, ready to share my heart with you all again. And ready to be visible, ready to be seen and heard. A lot of my last season 1 of Heart's Home, was done just with the audio. And I realized I was still really working through a visibility wound in this last year. And now that I feel like I've busted through that glass ceiling, I've seen the limit that I put on myself, that I placed on myself, and I realized that it wasn't real. It was simply an illusion. I have broken through that limit, and I am so happy to be seen and heard. So thank you for witnessing this new phase of me and for being here with me today. I am so grateful, and I look forward to this whole season being so much more epic even than the last, and to continue to grow and glow with you. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the seasons of our souls. Much like nature, we are cyclical beings. We move through seasons in our lives as we are nature. There's times of growth, times of release, time to rest, time to flourish. It's all natural, and it's part of the full spectrum human experience. So often, and I know from my own personal experience, we resist these seasons, especially the ones that don't feel comfortable. See, the human experience is all about seeking out the things that bring us pleasure and basically avoiding the things that bring us pain. So we're always trying to move more towards that which we believe is pleasurable and stay away from that which we believe causes us pain or harm. When we try to push through and be out of sync with our own natural rhythms, forcing ourselves to be a certain way based on maybe societal pressures or familiar pressures or what other conditioning that has brought us to this state where we feel like we should or we must be something other than who we truly desire to be and who we feel we are authentic as, then this is where the struggle and the force comes in. We try to push through our winters. We force ourselves to be in summer mode when really our bodies and souls are craving stillness and rest. And this leads to burnout. I know because I've been here time and time again, and it's only when I took pause and realized and learned my own cycles that I was understanding the pattern that kept repeating. Because after all, cycles are patterns. The thing is, we don't have to move through seasons the way the universe does, in terms of the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere's spring, summer, fall, and winter. Our cycles and our seasons can vary from person to person, and even within our own being. Sometimes we might move through some cycles more quickly than others, and sometimes we might need a little bit more attention to the details in a certain season. It's all about honoring yourself, honoring your seasons. That's what really matters. So for example, this past summer was a lot like my winter. I took a lot of time to rest and integrate rather than doing a whole lot for other people. And this is something that I started to notice the pattern last year where I really craved summers to just chill, because last summer I wasn't just chilling, I was doing a lot of work. And even the summer before that, I feel like there was a lot of, well, it was actually pretty balanced the summer before that, but there was a lot of like learning and up-leveling. And I realized that this season of summer was actually a season for me to go within, to go inwards, and to allow my body to absorb and integrate all the lessons I had accumulated over the past year, but hadn't really taken the time to truly let sink in, let integrate, let be part of all who I am. There was still a lot of need to be still, to reflect, and to be with my own energy. I was hibernating, actually, and it was very necessary. And yet, at the same time, there were elements of fall in some of my summertime this year. I had to let go of what no longer served me, and that was a big portion of moving through the energies. And I also had to take notice that there were even some elements of spring where some new ideas began to take root, because as I was letting go of the old and creating space for the new, that new was ready to sprout through and reveal some of the steps to me. Now, as our external world, and the Northern Hemisphere particularly, moves into the season of fall, I actually feel like I'm entering my own internal summer, full of new energy and ready to flourish. And I've also recently realized that while I'm going through that bigger process of the seasons changing, I went through another mini cycle of clearing away and being in my fall, and then allowing some new ideas to come through. And that has been so beautiful, because even within a season and a cycle, you can have mini cycles. And that was something that I've been paying a lot of attention to and become aware of recently, and am allowing myself to experience it all, because really the full spectrum human experience has no limitations. It has only the limitations we place on ourselves. So I kind of view it as like a movie within a movie, or an image within an image. I have a cycle going on within a cycle, and even more so, there can be another cycle within that. For example, the cycle of creating even this podcast, there's a whole process to it, and that's another cycle within a cycle within a cycle. And when you can understand that that's how life literally is, it's a fractal, and we are all divine fractals of light. So of course, our energetics and our outer world is a reflection of our inner world will also move in fractals. So as I'm now noticing that I'm in my internal summer and everything is full of life and full of vitality, I am allowing myself to fully be seen, to fully be heard, to fully be expressed. And this new energy is here and it's ready to stay for the next season, however long that may be. And I'm really, really enjoying it. The next season I wanted to talk about is fall, the season of letting go. Fall is a beautiful metaphor for the process of letting go. As the trees begin to change the colors of their leaves and release them, we too are invited to release what no longer serves us. This can be in so many forms. We can release old beliefs, old habits, or even relationships that aren't aligned with our highest good. For me, one of the biggest limiting beliefs that I have recently let go of, and I feel this time more properly let go of, is that I have to do it all. That means that if I'm not constantly busy, that it's okay. Because I used to have this belief that if I'm not constantly busy, I'm not valuable. And this came from years of conditioning, years of programming. And, there's that old expression that I think is funny, and I don't know, it'll resonate with some people who watch this, because it's one of those things that I grew up in a Christian family. And so I don't remember the first time I heard it, but when I heard it, I thought it was so silly. It was, quick, Jesus is coming, look busy. And I thought, what a funny expression. That's not the role we are here to play. It's not like we just have to be busy all the time. And then I think that that idea has gotten perpetuated by, we don't want to appear as if we're wasting our precious resources, whether that be time, energy, abilities, whatever it is. But the thing is, rest is just as important as is productivity. And rest is productive because it's in the rest that our body gets to restore our cells in the way that it can only do when we are truly resting and we are in a safe environment and feeling like we're able to calm down. I remember after years and years and years of stressing myself out and trying to do everything and trying to take on all the responsibilities, volunteer for all the clubs, be on all the teams, participate in all the activities, try to please all the friends, again, recovering people pleaser, that I was stuck in a pattern where I just felt like I did when I was a small child. And my mom used to let us enroll in different activities, and I wanted to be in so many different activities because I like trying things out. So I was in gymnastics and yoga and acting and swimming and diving and choir, and just so many things. And I remember this one time that I was not having any of it, and I really didn't want to go to choir practice. And I think also because I would learn things really quickly. And it would take other people a lot longer to learn their parts of the songs and then to get it right. And I just didn't want to go to the rehearsal because I already knew my part, and I wasn't having any of it. And my mom was very insistent that I follow through on my commitments, that, I had signed up for this, I had committed to it, that I should follow through. And I must have been probably about 9 years old, maybe even 10. And I took a temper tantrum like a little child because I really didn't want to go. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. My energy was not at all aligned. And my mom didn't often cave for my temper tantrums. She was a very beautifully firm mother and would hold her ground with most things. But on this occasion, I remember after like really wailing for quite a while, she finally caved and let me stay home. And I remember lying down on the couch with my head in her lap, and she put this blanket over me. And all I really needed was to just rest and to gusho or cuddle with my mom. And it was such a big, important memory in my mind, because it was like, sometimes that's what's needed. Sometimes all we need to do is just stay home and rest. And my mom used to call this behavior of mine, when I would get so overwhelmed with all the things that I had put myself in and wanted to do, but then needed to take time in my own energy. Well, she said that this is what I used to call it. I'd say I'm peopled out, and I would just want to retreat and go back to my own space. And it's this idea of hibernation. So one of the things that I've let go of is that I can take time to rest, and I don't have to constantly be busy. I don't have to constantly be out in the world. I can actually give things up, release things that are no longer giving me energy, because it means making space for something new to emerge. It means making space for something that I would rather, that I would more so enjoy. And one important check that I do with myself now is to see, is this activity, person, event, thing, whatever it may be, giving me energy, or is it taking my energy? Now, that's not to say I won't do things that take my energy, because there is a delicate balance. However, if I notice that something is a constant drain on my energy, or every time I leave a person, a place, a situation, an event, a kind of thing like that, and I'm feeling really drained, and it might even take me longer than just a day to like recover that energy, then I really get curious with myself, and I see, is this a boundary that I need to uphold? And then the next time this situation comes around, I can say, no, thank you, and create space for something new. And so that's been a really beautiful check, if it's life-giving or life-draining. And this allows me to stay more in alignment with my authentic frequency, because for me, I know the way I operate, if it's giving me energy, I can do things with like endlessly. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I just keep going and going and going, as long as I feel like it's pouring into me. But if it's draining me, there's a time and a place when it's okay to say, no, thank you. And it's not quitting, it's pivoting. And there's a really big difference there. And it's so important to understand that difference, because we've been so often told just to push through, to not quit, to not give up. But are you actually pushing through beyond a boundary that is now to your detriment? Or are you pivoting and turning in the direction of something that's more aligned? So that's a really good way to think about this, and like ask yourself and then see what comes up. So as we move through this time of the year, the fall, I invite you to think about what you are ready to release. What's taking up space in your life that's no longer serving you? What leaves are you holding on to that might actually be holding you back? And again, you're welcome to take a minute here and pause and to actually reflect on these questions. Write them down. When we write down the answers to questions, and when we journal, we move information out of one part of our brain into another part of our brain. Instead of it looping around and looping around, we actually process this information in a logical manner, which then we can read back and we can see what is revealed by our writing. So it's a really great practice to not just think about things, like keep them up in your head, but get out of your head and into your body. When you're writing, you're connecting with your body, and use your pen and paper if you have, or pencil and paper, whatever writing tool, rather than typing if it's available to you and if this works for you, because there's something to be said about that kinesthetic connection where you're actually writing on hard paper and pen kind of idea. And if that's not how you process information well, know yourself, and maybe you type it out. But it's that mechanical aspect that's really key, instead of just letting it loop and loop and loop, because it will stay stuck in one part of the brain and not be able to lead you to the next step, let's say. So I wanted to take a moment and let you know about a beautiful offering that I have coming up. We are going on a magical retreat to Romania, and you are invited. From October 18th to 25th, I'm hosting a retreat in Romania. It's a grid working adventure for starseeds, light workers, and energy transmuters who are ready to explore vortexes and sacred sites, unlock DNA codes, activate their light bodies, and uplift collective consciousness. This retreat is going to be epic. It includes hiking, spelunking, which is a fancy word for caving, going through caves and enjoying and exploring, going to UNESCO World Heritage Sites, particularly the painted monasteries in the Suceava region. There's going to be various group sessions where I'll be teaching you how to use different divination tools, as well as to tap into your own unique gifts and abilities. And there will be one-on-one time with me so that you can explore anything and everything that you desire in a safe and beautiful space. This is an immersive, transformative experience, and it's perfect if you're looking to deepen your spiritual practice and connect with other like-minded souls and go on a beautiful journey. We will be connecting with nature and with our inner beings. We're going to really be on a journey together that's allowing you to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Because whenever we want the outer world to change, it's first an inner job. So I invite you to join me. This is a small, intimate group, just 6 participants. I love intimate retreats. I love these close gatherings where we can really go deep. If you know me, or if you're just getting to know me, you'll soon learn. I like to go deep. Surface level is fine in certain situations, but this work of the heart, it requires us to go deep and see through all the layers and experience the full spectrum human experience. That's going to the deepest depths to experience the highest heights. So if you feel called, now is the time. The dates are from October 18th through 25th. We're going to be flying in and out of the airport in Bucharest. And I'll leave the application form in the show notes so that if you're interested, you can let me know and I'll be in touch. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to connect with the powerful energy and unlock your full potential. Okay, now let's talk about winter. Winter is the season of hibernation. It is the season of integration. It's often seen as a time of depression. But what if we reframed it as a time of hibernation? And even more so, what if we reframed depression as compression? The desire to turn inwards and to actually know that all the answers are within. So of course that's where you're going to go to seek what you haven't been able to find on the outer world. It's a season where we are meant to go inward, to rest, and to integrate all of the experiences and lessons of the previous cycles. And as I already mentioned, this past summer was like my winter, where I needed to rest, reflect, and absorb everything that I had been through. Because since last October, and it's really funny that that's when this podcast is coming out, funny or synchronistic, of course, everything's connected. Last October is when my massive up-leveling started. For the years previous, I had really been going through major energetic shifts. I had definitely been up-leveling in a beautiful, relatively steady way. Yet in October, I began integrating different methods into my practice, my daily practice. And these were supercharged methods that allowed me to like truly skyrocket and just like take off. They acted like a catalyst, and they catapulted me into this version that I am today. And so much change has really occurred for me in the last year alone. And I'm beyond grateful. And I'm also really just reflecting on that right now about how much has happened in 1 year. It feels like I've lived like 5, 6, 7 lifetimes in 1 year alone. Thank you, universe. More, please. Whew. Okay, so thinking back on that, this integration though, I learned last summer that integration was super important, especially in my process. Because without integration, the lessons can get lost, and they can get lost so easily and so quickly. And journaling for me has always been a huge process of my integration. Because when I write things down, again, that moving it from one portion of the brain into another, into the long-term memory, and being able to process what actually happened, but also so that I can go back and read it later and remember and remind myself. Some people, they like to have a photo journal, and if I look in my phone at my gajillion photos, it's also such a nice trip down memory lane of all the growth that has happened, all of the moments that have brought me to where I am today. And often integration is overlooked. It is one of the things that I see the most in the spiritual and healing practices overlooked. Preparation and integration. There's a whole lot of like doing things in the middle, and like a lot of emphasis on taking action, the doing. And I speak about relentlessly energetic alignment first, meaning the preparation, and then the integration. So before you even take any of those actions, who are you being? What is it your intentions what are the intentions that you are setting? Who do you desire to become? Then there's all the stuff in the middle, which is really important. The learning, the expanding into more of who you are, taking the aligned and inspired action, which is super key, and I'll talk about that more this season. And then after the fact, the integration. Now that you've done all these things and you've become this new level, how are you taking all of that in and letting it really sink in and absorb instead of just rushing on to the next thing? Integration is vital. We all have different experiences, and we all learn different lessons. But without taking the time to integrate them into our being, to let them become part of who we are now, they don't actually add to any real transformation. And that's so often why we see people like being really successful in their up-leveling or in their changing, and then kind of reverting or going backwards to a version that looks a lot like the past, a repeated version. What's happening here is that there was not a lot of deep integration, and so the lessons were kind of lost, and it didn't really stick, if that makes sense. This is why many people actually feel stuck and why they feel like they don't see real change in their lives. And again, I say this all from my own personal experience. That constant battle with yourself, that tug of war, that 2 steps forward, 1 step back, feeling like you're stuck and you're in a time loop and you just don't understand how to move forward. When you actually take the time and you give yourself the time, the space, and the grace. The grace is so, so key. That beautiful, unconditional, loving extension of course it gets to be this way. Of course you are loved through it all. None of it has to be perfect. It all just has to be embraced. That's that true integration. When we allow any of the shadows, any of the darkness, any of the wounded inner child, any of the things that we thought we failed at, or that were tests we didn't pass, or that were parts of us that others rejected, and we felt like we couldn't fully express who we are, when we actually take the time to just witness that and witness it with so much love and compassion and understanding, and then allow it to be basically hugged and enveloped into the wholeness of who we are, that's when we let those lessons sink in and we realize we're not really stuck at all. We were just taking time to allow this to settle into our nervous system, into our being, and expand our capacity to hold more. This is what it means to be fully absorbed in the full spectrum human experience. So for me, the summer, it was a time to pause, to do less outwardly, and to focus on some healing that was still asking me to look at it and create more internal alignment. One of the things I always say is that we align with the divine within. And when that happens, it's so beautiful because it feels so right. There isn't any pressure, there isn't any worry, there isn't any fear, no doubt. It's just complete, quiet confidence, and what I call confidence on the inside is conviction. So now, after this period of winter-like hibernation, I'm coming into my spring, into the new ideas. I've been sharing those new ideas with my community. I'm sharing it in this way. I'm working with a beautiful group of light workers to train and certify them in energy healing and to allow them to tap into Reiki level 1, as well as divine source codes, which is my own beautiful creation given to me by Source, that helps people understand that they have a direct connection and they each have their own unique gifts and abilities. And once you learn how to tap into that, you get to be in that beautiful, abundant flow state and co-creation with Source. So, as we move forward, there's this level of readiness. There's this new level of growth, and it feels so, so in alignment with who I came here to be and this expression of me in my fullest. So as I speak more about spring, it's all about the new growth and possibilities. And I see the world through the lens of infinite possibilities. There's basically everything I believe is possible, and I truly mean that. Even the word, and I didn't make this up, but I love this saying, even the word impossible says, I'm possible. Everything that you can imagine is possible. If you can imagine it, it can happen. How do you think the world got to the place that we are today? It all came from imagination, from these conceptualized ideas that with enough attention, with enough focus, have manifested into physical reality, into physical form. That's literally what manifestation is. It means to take a thought, an idea, a concept, and to ground it into physical reality so that you realize it, see it with your real eyes, and can work with it on the physical level. When we think of spring, this is a time of beautiful renewal. It's a time of growth. It's a time of fresh possibilities. All the little baby animals are being born. The sprouts come up from the flowers and the trees and the plants. And the world is just teeming with beautiful, fresh prana, fresh energies that are waiting to, not waiting, they're coming, they're being that brand new version. After winter, that time of introspection, that time of hibernation, the spring brings forth so much clarity, so much new ideas, so much freshness. There's projects that are happening. There's a sense of well-being flourishing. And it's like we're beginning again. It's a renewal. This is the season where we plant seeds for what we want to create in our lives. After the winter, the farmer tills the crops, the hard soil, and plants the new seeds. This is a season to plant. This spring energy invites us to look forward with hope and excitement for what's to come. I love to use this example, this analogy, in my everything, in my yoga classes, in my teachings with students, in meditations, in workshops. Like, this is one of my favorite analogies. When you plant a seed, you plant it in the soil, you cover it with this, and you put it in fertile soil. You don't just throw it into any old soil, you put it in fertile soil. You gently put it in there, cover it up, and you pour some water, you set it in the sun, and you know how a seed works. You trust that with the proper care, the water, the air, and the light, it will begin to sprout. It may take a little while, but you know that it's going to grow. You don't doubt that it's going to grow. You don't dig up the seed every day to check if it's going to grow, because you know that if you dig up that seed every day, it will not grow. You have to trust that it is going to grow. It takes time. There is a gestation period. Just like when a woman is carrying a baby in the womb, she doesn't get pregnant and then the next day the baby comes out. No, we know that there is a gestation period. There is a time for growth, a time for things to be built underneath the surface, to be constructed, to be created. And that's such a beautiful process. So when we can trust that process and tend to it with the love and care that you need to tend to a seed, then this whole allowance thing becomes easier, because there's no need to like check on that seed every day to make sure that it's growing. You just trust, you know, that it is, of course, growing. I love the feeling of spring, actually. It's such a magical feeling. There's this sense of momentum. There's this sense of creative flow. And it's anticipation. And when we can keep it in anticipation instead of impatience, they have a very different energetic frequency. So anticipation is like positive expectation. You know it's going to happen, and you just trust, and you can wait for it. You're just excited about it. Versus impatience, where you maybe don't necessarily trust that what you desire is coming, and you want to keep checking and you want to keep seeing if whatever you desire is on its way to you. But the thing is, I like to also describe patience differently. Patience is not waiting. So impatience really isn't the idea of like you don't want to wait. I describe patience like this to my clients. When you go to a theater, not like a movie theater, but like a live theater. I lost the word for it right now. But where they're like a musical or a live show, in the intermission between Act 1 and Act 2, or however many acts there are, they close the curtains, and behind the scenes, They change all of the scenery. They change the backdrops. They change the things on the stage. They change the lighting. They change whatever they need to change, even the characters sometimes, so that when the curtains open to the new scene, you're delighted and surprised by what's going on there. That's what is going on with patience. Patience is like God or the universe closing the curtains and saying, ooh, I'm getting it ready for you, and it's going to be better than you can imagine. But I have to organize all this stuff in the background. There's so many moving pieces. There's so many moving parts, and they take a little minute to get organized and lined up just right so that when the curtains open, you can be like, ooh, amazing. Wow, look at that. However, if we were to be impatient in the sense that we keep peeking behind the curtains, or we're demanding that they hurry up and that it doesn't get fully formed, then this would be really not nearly as delightful when the full manifestation comes to us. So being patient is really a beautiful frequency. It's that deep trust, that deep knowing that of course it's getting ready for you and organized and all the parts are falling into place, yet because of the time-space reality in the human experience, it seems like there's that time lag because we have to wait. And all waiting is not bad. It's just the way that you view it. So if you give it a negative meaning, if you think about waiting as negative, then that's the result you will get. What you put in, you get out. What you put out, you get back. So if you are patiently waiting with anticipation, it's a positive expectation. Of course, you're going to get a positive result. It may take a little bit of time, and that's okay. If you are waiting and you're doubting and you're frustrated and you're not sure and you're questioning yourself and then you're digging up the seed, you're putting negative energy into this situation or this experience. And of course, what's going to come back is much of the same because our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. So it's really important that we just be clear with the energetics and that we understand our definitions of words can make a huge difference. So I encourage you to get clear on your definitions as well. So as we're looking at the season of spring and aligning with the creative flow that you desire in this world, I'm being very intentional with the seeds that I'm planting. And if you think about it for yourself, the seeds that you plant right now are growing into your future. So, what do you want to plant? What do you want to bring into your life? What do you want to trust, be patient about, and know with anticipation that it is sprouting, it is gestating, and it will be available to you when the divine timing is right. I encourage you, as always, to take a beat, take a pause. If you need to pause this, go ahead and journal on that before resuming. Or if you're going to come back to this later, setting aside some time to really question yourself and ask yourself, what is it I desire to create for this next season, for my future, for my life? And look forward with expectation, with positivity, and with excitement that it will be on its way to you. So the other thing I wanted to share with you, a different offering, is the private shadow work container that I'm working with people in. This beautiful 5-week container is for you to explore your shadows. It's called Illuminating the Shadows. And it's part of the manifestation process that I teach, because when we illuminate the shadows, when we look at the darkest parts of our psyche, the unconscious and the subconscious limiting beliefs that keep us stuck, that keep us being held back, that keep us in the spin cycle, and keep us basically feeling unregulated, feeling like what's possible for others might not be possible for us. When we do the work, the heart work, as I call it, and this is heart's home after all, it's the heart work. It doesn't have to be hard work. It can be a little uncomfortable at times, but it doesn't have to be hard. It is the heart work. When we do this work and we go deeply together, you have somebody like me to hold you lovingly and supportingly in a safe space so that you allow yourself to journey deeper and to really get to the core limiting beliefs that are keeping you in the cycles that you say you don't prefer, yet you don't know the way out of them. Or maybe you start to find the way out of them and then you find yourself back reverting to the way that things used to be and unable to move forward again. This 5-week journey is where we go deep into the shadow work. I help you look at shadow, wounded inner child, wounded teenager, various traumatic instances that may have occurred in your life. And I help you release what no longer serves you. I guide you into alignment with your highest self. And I also help remind you of your power. And this is a completely empowering process because I, as a healer, am not doing the healing for you because all healing is self-healing. I stay in the frequency of wholeness, unity, oneness, and hold that frequency for you. And it's up to you to choose to meet me there and to match that frequency and be in energetic alignment. The beauty of being a space holder and a healer is I can hold that energy for the both of us. And I can amplify that energy with my unique gifts and talents. And so then you have the opportunity to match that frequency and to really explore who you are at your essence and tune into your own unique gifts and abilities as well. This is a powerful container, and it's designed to anchor you into the human experience and create safety in your body at the same time so you can be truly anchored and rooted in this human experience while you explore higher levels of consciousness, while you explore the depths of your heart, while you explore the layers of your being. Throughout this process, we work with tools like Reiki, divine source codes, various breathing techniques. We work with Psych-K, which is another beautiful method that reprograms and rewires the subconscious mind so that you can truly take the actions that you say you desire. And we work with other energetic and somatic practices like emotional freedom technique or tapping, and even some beautiful yoga asanas are incorporated into this practice. There's meditation. There's really all of the best tools and practices that I use in my journey to help you journey through. I wanted to share with you the private shadow work container that I have created called Illuminating the Shadows. This is an invitation for you to work with me one-to-one in a private container. Illuminate the Shadows is a 5-week journey where we go deep into the shadow work, helping you to release what no longer serves you and guide you into alignment with your highest self. It's a powerful container designed to anchor you into the human experience while creating safety in your body. Throughout this process, this journey, we'll work with tools like Reiki, breathing techniques, meditation, hypnotic journaling, which is a process that I've created, and shadow work. You'll also experience somatic energetics, EFT, the emotional freedom technique tapping, and subconscious reprogramming with Psych-K to help you take inspired and aligned action and truly realize the life that you desire. One of the highlights of this container is the final phase, where we expand your horizons. We use meditation to envision your highest self and rewrite your story through embodied scripting. For the month of October, I'm gifting a custom shadow work book and a journal that accompanies the program for anyone who joins this journey, valued at over $80. There's no better time than now to start this work and transform your life. Every time I share these offerings, I think about those funny posts on Instagram. I love memes, by the way. And there's those memes that say like, oh, you could be doing this because I've already figured it out, but you just keep on scrolling. And that's what I think about whenever people tell me that they really want to create lasting transformative change in their lives, and then I share with them an opportunity like this, and they seem interested and then realize that they actually have to put in the heart work and do this work. The heart work doesn't mean it has to be hard work. So often we get stuck in our comfort zones and we'd rather stay stuck than actually change. And it's only when you get sick enough of your own repeating patterns that are no longer serving you that you're ready to make that change. So if this is you, I invite you to fill out the form that is in the show notes. This is just a form to let me know that you're interested. Fill it out and I'll be in touch and we'll connect about illuminating the shadows and integrating them into the light, alchemizing the pain into pleasure. If this sounds like something you're ready for, I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Now we come to summer, the season of flourishing and play. I love summer. For me, summer represents joy. It represents play. I have a photo on my phone screen, and it's a picture of me at this place I was in Florida a couple of years ago, pointing to a sign, and I'm in like the brightest colors with the biggest smile on my face. And this place was called, it was a restaurant in like pool area at the top of a hotel that I stayed in, and it was called Always June. And I'm pointing at it and smiling because I love that name. It reminds me of the feeling of a teacher at the beginning of summer. Just so hopeful, so playful, so full of expectation and excitement about all the joy that is here and available and easily accessible. Summer is a time when all of the hard work of the previous seasons finally pays off. The season where the fruit comes, where you get to pluck the ripeness and enjoy it with so much pleasure, with so much sensuality, with so much love and bliss. It's a time to celebrate how far we've come and to enjoy the abundance that life has to offer. And it's about embracing the light, because summer is the brightest season. It is when we have the longest days. It's all about being present in the moment. If you can think back and remember about what summers used to feel like for you as a kid, or perhaps now they're actually better for you, but whatever summer resonates as a time of freedom or joy, or even if it's not summer, but there's something else that resonates with you as freedom and joy and abundance, just take a moment and close your eyes, picture that, anchor into that, feel that feeling, and allow the energy to just bubble up within you for a moment. I invite you to smile, and if you had your eyes closed, come on back. Just that little moment, that lightness of this season. It's a joy in simply being. And I love simply being. I love being in stillness and just being. I want to remind you also that it's okay to flourish. Like I said at the beginning, you being in your best state, you being healthy, you being well, does not take away from anybody else's vitality. You flourishing, you thriving, You glowing up does not take away from anybody else's opportunity to do the same. In fact, when we celebrate and encourage each other, we all feel that same upliftment, and we all get to glow up together. So please remember to shine your light brightly. And it's really okay to celebrate yourself and to celebrate others. Collaboration over competition. Summer also reminds us that the work that we've done matters because we see the fruits of our labor. When you can look back and say like, oh, all of this had so much purpose. Wow, look at how far I've come. I did that, and it's brought me to here. That's such a celebratory vibe. That's such a beautiful place to be in. So I invite you to think about these questions. What are you celebrating in this season? And how are you allowing yourself to enjoy the fruits of your labor? How are you allowing yourself to enjoy all that you've created? I have a little story on this. I guess it was just January, because we're not in January yet. So in January, I was making a decision about if I would stay and sign for another year of my contract to be a teacher, or if I would go and give up that part of my life. And I almost made the decision to leave my teaching job, to leave everything that I had created. In fact, I was actually really certain that I would. Yet, divinely guided always, the night before I had an interesting interaction with a bunch of my friends who really helped me and pointed out to me, helped me understand how much work I had put in and how much brilliance and abundance I had created, and how much there was to enjoy and to adore and to appreciate and to celebrate, because I had created all of that. And I remember being on the phone with my mother the night before, quite hysterical actually, because I was really feeling like a tug of war between myself about what to do. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? No. And I said something to my mom. I can't remember the exact words I said, but the essence of it was like, Mom, I've worked so hard for all of this. I have spent the last 11 years of my life building all of this, and I've been so focused on building it all that I haven't taken enough time to just enjoy it and to appreciate it and to love on myself and on others and absorb all of what I had created. And I'm like, and none of it will matter if I don't take that time to really enjoy it. And it's not about all the other things and the doing. It's about the being in it, and to be with my friends, to be with the people that I feel connected with and close with and I love so dearly, and to really just bask in that. And my mom said, well, my child, you figured out something that many people take a whole lifetime and still don't figure out. So yeah, why don't you just do that? Why don't you just chill, relax, and enjoy? And I laugh a little because honestly, it's been like my biggest challenge in life, through a lot of my life, to just chill and relax and enjoy all that I've created. Because, you know, as we go through these ebbs and flows, I forget, and then I remember, and then I forget, and then I remember. And it's so beautiful because, as I said, this whole year has really been about me integrating and anchoring in the frequencies that I so desire to build my sustainable future. And now I don't forget this. It's been more than a year of me not forgetting to chill, to relax. There's definitely been a few moments here and there where it's like, oh, I'm not chilling, I'm not relaxing, I'm not just allowing. But there is an art to this. There is an art to the surrender. There is an art to the, just like there's an art to the creation process, there's an art to that chilling out process. And I love that because we are all artists. We are all creators. And we all are all magnificent in our own ways. And so finding that sweet spot for you where it feels like you're dancing with the universe, that's where the true beauty lies. That's where the magic is, that I say. It's where the synchronicities, the magic, the miracles align. And you really find that true alignment. You align with the divine within. Yeah. I feel pretty whole and complete on what I wanted to say. And I will leave with sharing another one of the offerings that I'm working with right now. And if you're interested and want to get on the wait list for the next round, I would love to invite you. I am right now leading and teaching a group of light workers. As I mentioned, I'm certifying them with Reiki Level 1 and Divine Source Codes Level 1. These are beautiful light energy healing modalities that allow you to heal yourself and others on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, the whole beingness. And I want to remind you that if you're ready to step into your role as a light worker, as a healer, as a divine being connected with Source, and you would like some guidance in that, the next round of I Illuminate, because, you know, I'm punny, your girl's punny. It's an energy healing and channeling for light workers training and certification program. It will be coming up. You can get your name on the wait list now. And like I mentioned, all the containers that I create are rather intimate. So this 9-week program is an intimate co-creative space. It's an incredible journey through Souliloquy, light body activation, divine source codes, quantum healing modalities, and so much more. You also get to connect with members of your soul tribe and be in a community of light workers who are doing the energetic work with themselves first so that they can help to uplift collective consciousness. It's designed to help you connect with your gifts, to raise your vibration, and to step into your power. This is for the leaders. I am a leader. I lead myself. A leader is somebody who leads themselves, who goes first. It's not somebody who has followers. A leader influences with love, with a gentle touch. And I lead leaders. I help leaders reignite their flame from within and reconnect with the truth of who they truly are and remember their own unique gifts and abilities. So if you feel called to this, I'll leave the link for the waitlist in the show notes. Make sure to sign up so that you're the first to know when the next round opens up and so that you can get early bird discounts. Because everybody likes to be an early bird and to get special bonuses and discounts. I mean, abundance in all the ways. So, as we come to the end of today's episode, I'm just taking a moment, taking a big breath, and I feel a shiver running through my spine because there have been so many instances in the last year and a half where I've wanted to put season 2 on the docket to be the next thing up, where I've wanted to start this podcast again, yet something was getting in my way. And what was that something? Me. Always me. It's you versus you, baby. It's you and the universe. And I was getting in my own way. There were so many things that I was still working with under the surface, and I really had to anchor into my authenticity, anchor into the truth of who I am, and really stop judging myself and then projecting that onto others, thinking that they were the ones judging me. It was me judging me all along. And now that I'm in this place where, to say I don't judge myself at all would be not true, but I'm in such a beautiful, self-accepting, deeply compassionate, self-loving place. Yes, I've been there for a very long time, but it's a different thing. It's a self-worthiness, a self-deservingness place where it's like, nah, I get to be however I want to be in this world, in this life, and I am worthy of taking up space. I am worthy of being seen and being heard. That visibility wound, she's gone. And now I'm just here to be in my full glory. I want to remind you that this is a journey. And just as nature is cyclical, so too are we. Everything comes in waves. And so honoring that season that you're in, honoring that part of the wave, that part of the cycle that you're in is so crucial to the whole process. That's where that grace and that compassion and really experiencing the full spectrum human experience and expanding your capacity to hold more comes into play. I invite you to take time to be in whatever season you're in, to love on yourself in whatever part of your journey you're in. And whether you're in a phase of release, of rest, of growth, or of flourishing, know that every season is equally important. Every season serves a purpose. And when you honor these cycles, you honor yourself. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you feel inspired to tune into your own inner cycles and to embrace the beauty of each and every season. And instead of looking outwards and thinking of competition, can you go inward and recognize and appreciate the unique fractal of light that you are, and then use that to collaborate and create and put into this world what you desire to manifest in your future? That energy. Let's vibe from there. As I always say, when you truly love yourself, you remember who you are. And when you shine your light brightly, others can find you. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend or someone who might need to hear this message, or someone who you think might just enjoy this message. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the podcast, and please hit the like button and comment. When you leave a comment below, it boosts the visibility of this beautiful podcast and allows me to reach more people and have more impact. And that's what I really desire to create in this world, a long-lasting, positive impact that spreads far and wide and reminds people about their unique gifts, their unique abilities, their inherent power, and raises the collective consciousness. Whatever you found inspiring, whatever you found most in resonance with your soul, please share it below. And remember, keep shining your light. Keep sharing your gifts. For if you have a gift, it's meant to be received by somebody. And the only way they're going to be able to find you is if you keep shining brightly. Thank you so much for joining me today on season 2 of Heart's Home. Oh, that feels so fun to say. Stay tuned for more episodes with conscious conversations coming back this season, where I'll be having literally conscious conversations with other conscious beings. There's going to be recurring episodes, and I'm even thinking about bringing like a mini series in about like live coaching, where somebody can volunteer to have a coaching session with me, where it'll be basically broadcast so that others can see the process that we go through when we're illuminating the shadows, or when we are working to expand our horizons, or when we're working to expand our nervous system capacity to hold more, or when we're taking aligned and inspired action steps and planning out what's next. So if that sounds exciting to you, let me know, share it in the comments below. And if there's certain topics that you'd really love to hear about this season, I just want to know all of it from the community. So definitely share it below in the comments, or if it's more comfortable to you, send me an email. It's namaste plant-based, NAMASTE, plant, PLANT, based, BASED, at gmail.com. Namaste plant-based at gmail.com. Or you can also follow me on Instagram. I've got 2 accounts that you can find me at. Lizzie Namaste plant-based all together, or heart.s.home, and that's where I'll be sharing the shorts from the long of the YouTube. It'll be on the heart.s.home Instagram page. So thank you. Really, it is such a delight and joy for me to be sharing my voice, to be being visible, to be sharing my love with you. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. From my heart to yours, thank you for sharing your time, your energy with me. Namaste. And peace out.